Hello, everyone. Back with another 2026 election prediction. This time we're taking a look at the 2026 House elections, and we're going to start off with the states most likely to get redistricted. So we're going to Texas first because the Texas House map has finally dropped, the new one that the legislature is very likely to end up voting for. So we got official numbers for that now. And we're going to get right into the changes made to the Texas House map. So before, this was the Texas House map. There was 13 Democrats. Now there's only going to be 8 Democrats on this map. So let's start off with the first few states. In Dallas, Texas's 32nd seat has been changed into R plus 17. So that's safe red. Julie Johnson has no chance at winning that seat. Let's head over to Houston. Al Green's seat has been turned into an R plus 15 seat, so no chance of that seat going anywhere or going blue, so it is safe Republican now. In Central Texas, Greg Caesar's seat has been turned into R plus 10. So I would put it as likely Republican for now. If he runs for re-election, it's definitely probably going to be below 10. So it's a marginal seat. It's right on the cusp of safe. So I see it going at like R plus 5 between 9.9. It's somewhere around that margin. So let's go back to full size. So we already have 3 pickups for the Republicans. The 34th district has been changed from R plus 4 to R plus 10. So Vincent Gonzalez likely goes down with that. Henry Cuellar's seat in Texas's 28th district, it's only been made 4 points more Republican. It was already R plus 7 in this seat. So he definitely has a shot here. He won by 5.6 before, so just because it's shifted a bit more Republican, I actually still think Henry Cuellar has a chance at winning the seat. I'm narrowly giving him it as of right now because I do think he's a pretty good overperformer. But there is a chance he goes to prison. So the Democrats would have to find a replacement for him, and they probably would have to find a conservative similar to him, a conservative Latino Democrat. That's the only way they really win this seat. But for now, I'm assuming Cuellar does not go to prison, and I'm assuming he runs for re-election. And I still actually think he's the favorite in this double-digit Trump seat because he's won an R plus 7 seat before by 5 points, and that's pretty impressive. And I think he could pull that off in an even redder seat. I think he could win. So the Democrats lose out on 4 seats because the Republicans didn't gerrymander Texas's 28th district hard enough for Henry Cuellar to lose. So that's how I see that race going as of right now in Texas. In Utah, the Supreme Court in the state keeps kicking this case down the road. They keep delaying this redistricting case. So I think they're just going to keep delaying it till 2026 is over with, honestly. So based on that, Utah is unlikely to get redistricted because they keep delaying the case. So for now, I'm just going to be assuming it's just going to stick with the same map, and that would mean the 4th district stays Republican. Ohio is also guaranteed to get redistricted, and I think the Republicans are going to play it safe. They're going to keep Cincinnati intact. So that means the 9th district and 13th are going to be changed into likely Republican districts. Very hard for the Democrats to really win those 2 seats. So starting off, the Republicans are already up to a sizable advantage in the House just because of redistricting. Florida also has the potential of getting redistricted. I'll tell you the implications of that by the end of the video because I do think the House map is very close now, and Florida redistricting could definitely change who wins the House of Representatives. So let's keep on moving. In Montana's first, Ryan Zink, I still think he wins re-election, but by a narrow margin. Gabe Evans, I think he loses re-election. It's a narrow Trump seat. Gabriel Vasquez, he outperformed Harris by a pretty significant margin, so I actually think he wins by 5. We're going to go to California next. And California, if it does do redistricting, it's likely to happen after 2026. So I'm not going to do any like hypotheticals like, oh, they're going to draw out 5 Republicans on this map. I'm not going to assume that they're going to do that until it actually happens because there's a lot they have to do to really go through those steps to redistrict in California. They have to get a special election to happen to vote on whether or not they could do mid-decade redistricting without an independent commission. So let's start off with all these Los Angeles swing districts. So the 49th, Mike Yevon, I expect him to win. Same with Dave Min. Young Kim, she outperformed Trump by a pretty significant margin, but I think this time Democrats are really going to target her. In the 45th district, Derek Tran, he's a perfect candidate. I think he'll win re-election. In the 41st, Ken Calvert's an underperformer. And I do expect the Democrats to at least flip 1 seat in California. And this is the one that's the most competitive out of all of them. And I actually think the Democrats actually pull off unseating this longtime incumbent here because he's already underperformed before. In the 27th district, George Whitesides, expect him to win re-election here. He only trailed Harris by a point or so. David Valadao, expect him to win. He's a more moderate GOP congressman. In the 21st, this district's trending Republican. So even though Costa won by 5 last time, I think he's going to be in a bit tougher position. He just keeps underperforming, and this district just keeps shifting towards the right. So it's something to keep an eye on. In Josh Harder's district, he's facing a rematch again. So again, another competitive race for him. Adam Gray, he isn't facing a rematch, but Adam Gray is a good candidate. He outperformed Harris by a pretty significant amount of like 5.5 points. So I still think he's the favorite. He also has incumbency advantage now, which is nice for him. Let's head to New York. This state also has a chance of redistricting, but they have to amend they have to get like 2/3 majority in the legislature to really get that ball rolling on redistricting. So I'm assuming they keep the same map as of right now. But if they do redistrict, I could see the Staten Island district going away. I could also see them drawing New York's first into a narrowly blue district. So they could pick up 2 seats downstate, and I could also see the 17th becoming a lot bluer too. So we're going to start off with the Long Island seats first. In New York's 4th, I expect Laura Gillen to win re-election. Suozzi, he's a strong candidate. He outperformed Harris by a pretty significant amount, so expect him to win re-election here. Michael Lawler, expect him to win re-election unless Stefaniak loses big time to Hochul, which I don't know. I don't really see her losing that big of a margin to Hochul. Josh Riley, unseated and incumbent GOP House rep. I think he's a strong candidate. I think he wins re-election. All right, what other states do we have? In Washington's 3rd district, Marie Perez, expect her to win re-election. This is a narrowly trending Democratic district. In Nevada's 3rd, it is a Trump district, but with the Democratic gerrymander here, it really shored up Susie Lee. I expect her to win re-election. We have 2 districts in Arizona that are competitive. In the 6th district with Cisco Maney, it's the most closest Republican-held district here, so Democrats, I think, are actually going to succeed in unseating him. In Arizona's 1st, I'm keeping this as narrowly Republicans, one of the redder swing districts here. In the 4th, I think it goes to safe blue because it'll have a bluer electorate in Arizona than it was in 2024. In Nebraska's 2nd, with Don Bacon not running for re-election, this is going to be a pretty easy flip for the Democrats. Missouri's 2nd, Democrats are going to try flipping this seat, but I think they're going to come up short. It is a likely Republican seat, but I think it's a suburban seat, so Democrats are going to try to flip it, but it's probably not going to happen. In Iowa, we got 2 seats here. Marinette Miller Meeks, she's running for re-election, and I'm assuming she wins the primary. In the general election, she's going to be in a lot of trouble because she underperformed by 8 points, which is pretty significant. Zach Nunn, I think he's going to be in a bit of trouble. It's going to be a pretty competitive race in this district. I actually think the Democrats managed to flip this one blue. Again, I think Iowa's going to have a competitive governor and Senate race, so we're going to see a bluer electorate in Iowa as a result. So in Wisconsin, we only got one competitive district with this Derek Van Orden's district, and I just want to show you how much he underperformed by and why I think he's in a lot of trouble. So he underperformed by 5 points in Wisconsin's third. He's already like tweeting like pretty much a moron on Twitter all the time, and Democrats are really going to hammer him on that. They're going to attack him for voting to take school lunches away from children, and he bragged about that in his tweet. So that's just, he's a terrible campaigner, and he's pretty much drunk half the time when he's on television. So he's a drunkard, and he doesn't know what he's talking about on Twitter. He's saying like the most dumbest things, like he's trying to lose re-election. So I just think he's a bit of a moron here. So I think I see him going down. He already underperformed by so much last time. I think he's going to be in a lot of danger this time around in that district. And I think it's going to be an easy flip for the Democrats because he really is just digging himself in a hole like every time he opens up his mouth. So we're going to head over to Michigan next. I'm putting this district as safe Republican and the third as safe blue. We're definitely going to see both these candidates run for re-election. So I don't really think it's going to be competitive. We only got 2 competitive seats here. Rivet's definitely a strong candidate, so I expect her to win by a likely blue margin. In the Michigan's 10th district, it is a 6-point district in favor of Republicans, so I think they're going to hold this district with the new candidate. Barrett, however, I think he's going to be in a bit of a trouble, and I could see him narrowly going down in this seat. Got 10 seats remaining. We're going to head to North Carolina now. We only got one competitive race down there. It's in the 1st district. It's a trending Republican district, but I think Davis is going to narrowly win re-election here still. I think he'll get enough black turnout to hold on in this race. And he's also going to see a lot of turnout because the Senate race is going to be pretty expensive. So they're definitely going to generate a lot of turnout in this state, and that'll definitely help Don Davis. In Virginia, we got 2 competitive races here. The 7th, we're seeing a strong Republican run on this side, so Vindman might be in some trouble here. But he barely underperformed Harris, so he isn't that lackluster of a candidate. Jen Kiggins, I think she's extremely vulnerable. There's been a lot of people fired by the Trump administration in Virginia, so I actually see this district narrowly flipping to the Democrats. Pennsylvania and New Jersey are up next. Pennsylvania, we got 3 competitive districts. I don't think Fitzpatrick's going to be in a bit of trouble. He did vote with Democrats to not vote for the big, beautiful bill, which will definitely help him in this district, especially with independent voters who hate the bill. And I think he'll win over some Democrats who respect him for voting no on that bill as well. In the 8th district, it's a very Republican district, but Matt Cartwright is not running for re-election here. But Bresnahan, Democrats are doing better in the generic ballot, so they have a shot in this seat, but I still think Bresnahan wins re-election. Scott Perry underperformed by 4 in this district. He's very vulnerable, and I think Democrats managed to flip this seat blue. In the 7th district, Ryan McKenzie, I think he's in a bit of trouble as well. It's a narrowly Republican district. He underperformed Trump by a bit, so I think this seat will also flip blue. And I think a lot of it will be due to Shapiro's coattails helping out these Democrats in the 7th and 10th district. And maybe even an 8th is on the table if Doug Mastriano wins the nomination and Bombs does terrible in Pennsylvania's governor's race. Because if he's the nominee, he's probably going to lose by worse than he did in 2022. So, yeah. Let's head over to New Jersey now. New Jersey only has a few competitive races. Both are in Trump districts. So Nella Pugh, I think she wins re-election here. It's only a narrow Trump district after all. Tom Keene, expect him to win re-election here. He outperformed Trump by a bit. He's a good candidate. Democrats clinch the House majority with that win. In New Hampshire, the first district, it's a Democratic leaning one, so expect them to win this seat. In Maine's second district, we're seeing LePage up against Jared Golden, but I don't see Jared Golden losing in a midterm year. He typically does better in midterm years. If he is going to go down, it's going to be in a presidential year, honestly. And LePage, he left Maine for Florida, came back and got embarrassed in the governor's race. He did win Maine's second in the governor's race, but at the same time, Jared Golden still won that district by like 6. So even if the polls say Jared Golden's in trouble, I kind of don't believe it. I still think Golden is the favorite in this race. So even with the Texas gerrymander minusing 4, potentially 5 Democratic seats, again, I think Henry Cuellar can manage to survive in this race. Even in an R+10 district, I still think he has a pretty good shot. But then again, that could change. If he gets arrested and goes to prison, then this seat could flip Republican. But we're going to go talk about Florida for a second here, because if Florida redistricts, we could see 3 Democratic seats go away here. They could redistrict in Miami-Dade. They could even draw out Kathy Castor up here. That could get the Republicans to 218 seats if the Democrats do not respond with gerrymanders of their own. But for now, I'm not assuming that Florida is going to gerrymander, because that is a bit risky for them, especially with the VRA. But right now, I see the Democrats having 220 House seats, the Republicans 215. The gerrymander in Texas definitely helps Republicans out a lot, and they could even, like I said, gerrymander Florida to help them out even more. But this is just how I see the House map going as of right now. If you're new to this channel and you enjoy content like this, you should definitely consider subscribing. Other than that, I will see y'all in the next video.